All right, hello everybody. Welcome today. We welcome you to Unlocking Your Piece of the Government Contracting Goldmine. We are proud today to have our guest, the Gov Conway, all the way from Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois, where they're based out of. But they are operating and helping people worldwide with their innovative solutions, their automations, and the way they have revolutionized the government contracting experience. First, I want to make sure that for those of you that are new and have not been to any of our prior events, to understand who we are and what we're about, we are Master Wealth Builders LLC. We have been working and building our organic community over the past 3 years to make sure we're providing information to the public, that we're not gatekeeping. With our combined experience with the team members that we do have on right now, people that are not here, were not able to make it. We have combined over 25 years experience in all fields, whether it's related to business, health, legal, finance, running your business, starting your business, getting funding for your business. So the goal is that every time we are bringing you a guest like these prestigious people that we have today, we're bringing you information and knowledge that is going to be something you can take away, implement in your daily lives to help you along the journey you're already building, and then to also make sure that you have support with anything that you have questions on today, so that way you can continue with a team of people and a community of people to help you. Now, our why is because we are all here at one time or another. If you're not already an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a contractor, we never had a blueprint to figure out how to start it. How do we go about doing these things? So whether you're in the tech field, the business field, finance, whatever it is, real estate, you need some education and mentors and people to support your journey. I personally started my entrepreneurship journey very young in life, but I was told, okay, my process was I had to go to college, I had to get a job, and I have no problem with that. I love educating myself. I know I love to learn, but nobody taught us that we can learn things in the field of work or the direction we want to go. So TK and I combined our businesses that we already have together to be able to support the educational community part of it. So even though I've been running my business, I've been wearing my hats for a long period of time. I've been in finance for 26 years, doing as a loan officer, tax professional, credit specialist, you name it. Funding, banking, I've done it all. But the goal is it's not for me to do it all, to bring in other experts that we can piecemeal and be able to guide you in every area of your journey. So I'm going to let my partner, TK Pryor, give his why as to why he is helping people and we're supporting this journey.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Definitely passionate about and sort of giving you guys some puzzle pieces, right? The idea here and the idea behind mastering your wealth is to fill in whatever puzzle piece that you're missing. A lot of us are taught throughout school or throughout our parents to go solo dolo. But the higher you go up the food chain, the more you find out that billionaires all know each other. They work together. The solo dolo compete. My company's better than yours. That stuff doesn't work. So we are here to give you financial literacy, give you empowerment tools, and just sort of make your learning curve shorter. Because if I extend my network to you, hopefully I'm going to extend your net worth. So my why is just because I'm passionate about financial literacy. I want to not gatekeep, and I really want to facilitate access by whatever it is that you don't understand how to do. I'm plugging you into someone who can help you learn it faster because they've already made that mistake, right? Those roads have already been paved. And my mother paved the road for me. She left me a trust and she funded that trust with a annuity. So a lot of people who look like me that are melanated don't know that they can do that. And I'm living off my mother's trust right now. It's the reason why I'm able to not have a 9 to 5. And it was the reason why I was able to go full-fledged into this company, Master Wealth Builders. So if I can play it forward, I'm actually honoring my mother by helping you to set up an annuity within a trust so that now your future generations get what I get, $5,000 a month, tax-free. So if you didn't know that, you didn't know that's possible, that's an example of why we do this. Shantae?
All right, thank you, TK, for sharing. So, as you see, everybody here has a story. We have what we call church testimonies, but it's a testimony to why we are passionate about. We don't want to gatekeep. We don't want to keep secrets. We actually have somebody here, and I'll let him introduce himself later, but he has a company called No Keepers, No Gatekeepers. I love the title of his business because, back in the day, you had to be privy to the information or be in those rooms or be in those levels to learn how to be a millionaire or get the keys to success. So we're giving it to you at the ground level where you can participate from day one. So these are some of the resources TK represented with all the partners that we have that are associated with us, including the Gov Conway. So we do have any of these supportive services that can help any of you guys on your journey. It's not just through Master Wealth Builders. We are partnered with U.S. Commercial Capital, 400 banks around the country, attorneys, anything you can think of, we have access to it. So it's about what resources and people we can connect you with to help you get your journey going. We also have a financial education program through our partnership with Dr. Shirley Liu and Associates and First Financial Security. So we are implementing these types of classes to help people at least with their basic financial literacy and advanced strategies. They're currently in Maryland school systems. We're working to get these across the country and other school systems all over the place so people can start from when they're at school. You don't have to figure it out when you're an adult. Start getting the education and training. So when you're ready to be an entrepreneur, or even if you're an employee, you're going to do wise things with your money and be able to leverage for better success. We,
Okay, let me interject. I'm sorry. Can you go back to the previous slide? I just wanted to add, this is a approved curriculum by a national organization. So when she say it's in schools, this is a set curriculum by a national financial organization. So we can give you the basics or we can give you advanced. We were contracted to go out to a nonprofit and do a custom class that they wanted just on entrepreneurship and just on family trust. So I just want to make this known within the recording that we can do something custom for you, or we can basically go over these basics. But our classes are advanced. So we'll hit you where you are and we'll try to grow you to the point where what you're making better decisions and you're being more savvy with your money. Because honestly, there's even if you have a PhD in economics, when you go to college and you get a PhD, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it. It teaches you how to be a people manager within a corporation. It doesn't teach you how to run a corporation and be your own supervisor. So the entrepreneurship training, the financial literacy training doesn't come from a PhD. It doesn't come from a traditional school. That's the reason why we're doing this. We're trying to cover advanced principles of the super rich and just expose you to something that maybe your mother didn't teach you, maybe your degree didn't give you. All right, go ahead, Shante.
Absolutely. And everything TK said is correct. He just talked about it. We just did a 2 day seminar with the Mayor's Office of DC for Department of Corrections Returning Citizens and the DC community with doing an entrepreneurship initiative. We're providing these resources to county, state, local, nonprofit, church organizations. So these are some of the ways we're helping individuals, job seekers through our partnerships as well as what we do. If you're a business owner and you're just starting your journey, or maybe you just have a new project or a contract, we do set up specific trainings on what type of structuring to do, set up, so we'll get more into that later on how to make sure you start your path off right. And then once you get up the ladder, we have corporate programs. We are working with major corporations, organizations, through these corporate programs across the country to make sure that you can provide benefits to your team. Because we know as you develop your business, even if you're in contracting, contracting is a business. So if you have a team working for you, under you, you want to be more efficient in how you save money, work like the one percenters do, keep more money tax wise. Always tell people you can work the tax system the right way if you know your options available to you. So no longer ado. I want to make sure we get to our highlight of the hour, which is Phil and Paris of the Gov Conway, and I'm going to let you guys share your screen and take it over. But they are going to present to you, and please give them your undivided attention.
How's it going? First and foremost, thank you, Shantae and TK, for the invitation. My name is Paris. I'm the founder of Gov Conway, ex-military, so salute to all my veterans out there. Also, used to be a mechanical engineer. Started government contracting while I was while I was a mechanical engineer, and I guess it got to the point where I'm not going to talk about money or anything like that, but I was able to put my 2 week notice in. Let's just leave it at that. And then we started teaching government contracting probably around 5 years into doing it off the grid. At first, it was like one of them things where, if we're actually doing this thing, why would we put it out there? And then we get on social media and we see people are talking about this, but it's a lot of misinformation that was being given. So we joined a few webinars. We joined everything to kind of just do like a SWOT to see what the competition was doing. And I was new to social media, so and Phil can attest. I was literally on this webinar for like 45 minutes, and I found out it was recorded, but it said it was live. So I'm asking questions, and I'm like, this is not right. I'm basically trying to get him to let me share my screen so I can talk to him. And then I come to find out that this was a recorded webinar. So that completely it threw me for a loop. So long story short, it was the day after that we decided, you know what, we're gonna get on social media and start talking about this thing. Fast forward to today, we have 300 plus members in the community. A lot of people are doing extremely well for themselves. We have testimonials that can go around a DC or New York or Chicago block. Um, so yeah, that's me. That's my story. And then we have my co-founder Philip. He's gonna tell us about himself.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks again, Shantae, TK. I am Philip Gov Conway Philip Jenkins. I am the co-founder of the Gov Conway. And to kind of piggyback off of what Paris was saying and add a bit about myself, I've been a government contractor for 5 years. And we started off from scratch, just falling down different rabbit holes on how to execute this entire process correctly. And that's one of the main reasons we weren't going to show anybody. And we kind of kept it within ourselves because we were still learning the process and hitting a lot of bumps in the road before we perfected the entire process. So, and just like Paris said, we saw a lot of misinformation online, but most importantly, we saw individuals getting a bad teaching method of being sold courses. And we understood that it takes way more than a course just off of our personal experience to actually be successful in government contracting. There's a lot you need to know. There's a person you have to be able to execute these contracts and build the right relationships around this industry to be profitable, consistent, and successful. So we literally mixed everything into one, decided we wanted to teach individuals hands-on on how to have the same success we've had. So that leaves no guessing to the process that we've created. Every step of our process is done with you. So if we're teaching you how to bid on contracts, you're right there with us. We're sharing screens with you like we are now, and we're walking you through the entire process on what goes in each and every field and why, so you understand the process from a physical and visual standpoint, which in return gives a lot of our mentees, gave a lot of our mentees the opportunity to win contracts within their first 30, 45 days of bidding. We have individuals who won contracts within their first week of bidding. So we have a lot of beautiful and great testimonials, and we just want to show individuals this entire process from a raw standpoint. So you can understand this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is definitely work included, building included, but you do have the ability to be successful at a fast rate based on the right mentorship.
Absolutely. So we're gonna start with the slideshow. We kind of go through exactly what it is that we do. We're gonna talk about just government contracting, product sales in the whole, because it's totally different from what most people may have be privy to when it comes to service contracts. And that's not what we specialize in. We are subject matter experts when it comes to product sales, and we pretty much sell any and everything that the government is looking to purchase. So tonight we're going to pretty much break that down from A to Z on how to get in this space, how to leverage relationships, how to leverage your set aside. What is a set aside? Our community, everything that we bring from a camaraderie perspective. We are not a traditional community. I do want to be the first to throw that out there. We have annual meetups. We have outings. We go bowling. We play golf. We care about mental health. This is deeper than just government contract, people. is way deeper than just making money, because you have to mentally put yourself in a position to be ready to take on what God got coming for you. Now, I don't want to get to preaching and put God into the mix, but I'm real religious, so I had to throw him. I had to give a shout out to my big one up there. But we're gonna get into it. Go ahead, Phil.
I do need permission to share. Amen. Yeah, when I hit share, it says permission. Sharing is not turned on. Oh, there we go. It should be. Yep, there we go. All right, we are going to get into now government contracting. This slide will basically be on how to build a product-based business selling to the U.S. government. Just a second. Now, why government contracting? The U.S. government is the largest buyer in the world with consistent demand and scalable opportunity. And that goes along the lines of them putting out over 150 billion dollars of opportunities and contracts out there every year for us to get out there and grab, depending on our set asides. And even without having a set aside, you do have the opportunity to grab some of that money.
And I want to say something about this as well. So, most people may be like, well, is this industry oversaturated? Like, are we going to butt heads on solicitations or contracts and things of that nature? And the answer to that is, I can only use me and Phil as an example. We've been at this 5, 6 years, and we've never competed on a contract. They put out roughly 30,000 solicitations, i.e., contracts a month, and we can bid up to 50 times a day. But at no point out of those 30,000, I mean, our community has 300 plus. So for us to even run into the same solicitation, I mean, the odds is extremely, rare. So it's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of set aside opportunity, small business, women owned small business, service disabled veteran owned small business, as well as hub zone set aside opportunities. But yeah, they thought a lot of opportunities for us.
And federal spending overview. Now, federal agencies spend hundreds of billions annually on contracts, and that's something me and Parrish just touched on a second ago. Now, small business opportunities. Now, there's a 23% goal for small business participation, and that goes along the lines of what Parrish just talked about in regards to set aside, women-owned small business, service disabled veteran-owned small businesses, minority-owned, and hubs-owned, and women-owned. So 23% of that money goes towards these small set-asides. That way, we have the opportunity to grab some of that money. And how do we do that? And we're selling products to the government. So instead of the government going directly to that manufacturer to buy that product, they let us go to that manufacturer, create a deal, get that product, and buy it back from us, spending that money with our small businesses. That's how they allocate money towards our set asides. Right. And this is a set aside program for women owned small business, service disabled veteran owned small business, pub zone, and 8A small businesses as well, which me and Parrish just touched on a second. All right. Now, why products versus services? Products often require fewer employees and less overhead. And when we say fewer employees, you can do this by yourself. You don't need any employees. You don't need a building, a warehouse, or things like that. You can do this by yourself from home. The service side, you're actually providing a service. You're actually physically getting out there providing a service. And if you don't do that service yourself, you now have to find a third party to carry out that service for you, which is a ton of work when you're bidding on that contract and you're giving them financials, work overviews, who you're hiring to do the work as your third party. It's like a 60 to 90 page request for proposal. The reason why we're touching products is because we only have a 10-question bid sheet, which is about 1 page, and we hit submit and we're done. That takes about 1 to 2 minutes to fill out. So while the service side is doing about 5 to 10 bids a month, we're doing about 25 to 50 bids a day. It's a lot more opportunity on our side. And that's the reason why we chose the product side, because we don't have to have a specific niche we're going after. If it ain't nailed down, we're selling anything. So did you want to add anything to that, Pete?
Absolutely. What we should have added to this was partners. So a lot of questions that I receive quite often is, or not even question statements, or people telling me like, oh yeah, me and my partner, I'm going to partner with someone on this, or, what do you think about having a partnership, so on and so forth. I tell them all the time, well, if I go in on this with a partner, and let's just use me as an example, as a veteran, in order for me to get the SDVOSB set aside, I need to be 51% ownership of this company, which means the partner would have to take 49%. So let's just, say the first year we take in $10 million. And that number is not far-fetched, is not out of reach. I promise you, if you put the work in, that's very obtainable. We do $10 million our first year, right? After expenses, things of that nature, let's just say we take home uh, 7 million. Now, 49% of that 7 million is going towards someone who barely put in any work, because on paper he gets 49% of this company because he's my partner, right? Meanwhile, I can hire a virtual assistant and pay them 6 grand on an annual, and this VA gonna outwork any partner I could potentially bring on board. So keep that in mind when you think about partnering and getting into this space. You don't need a partner. You can get you a VA, and you could be a one man, woman wrecking crew, literally.
Absolutely. Now, if you have a partner like a spouse, this would be a great opportunity for you both. And that's one of the reasons we have almost like a couple segment in our community. We have a couple named Anita and Carlo. They joined our community October of last year, and they just hit their $1 million mark in contracts awarded to them in less than a year. And they teach individuals and couples how to divide and conquer, who takes on what parts of the business, and laying out from a high level overview what your tasks are going to be as a couple. Who's going to handle the bids, packaging, and shipping? Who's going to handle the relationship building? They specifically break down the entire process to individuals, to couples, and people who may want to bring a partner in. But Paris hit it right on the head as well. All right, now who buys our products? The DLA buys our products, which is short for Defense Logistics Agency, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, NASA, USDA, DHS, and GSA. That's who buys our products from us once we find those contracts. It just depends on who you want to bid with, and you can't specify which agency you want to go with. And what were you gonna say, Pete?
Yeah, I want to touch on this also. So when you think of the Defense Logistics Agency or defense in general, what a lot of people don't recognize is, and I'm just going to use, like, I don't know if we have veterans in here. When I was in the Navy, I did maintenance all the time. And I would wonder, like, man, this preventative maintenance, how is this coming up again? We haven't even done anything, right? These are just PMs we had to do. But every time I did a PM, guess what? I had to change out an O-ring, I had to change out a gasket, maybe a screw, bolt, rivet, so on and so forth, a hose. And come to find out, these were civilians that were supplying this to the government, right? So now when you have war, you have, I think, 2 wars going on simultaneous right now, one in Europe and one in Middle East or something like that, right? Every time that aircraft takes flight off that carrier and lands, guess what needs to happen? Preventative maintenance. Every time that anything, because there's always maintenance that need to happen. So the defense budget is going to always spend no matter what goes on in the economy, right? Defense is one of the only industries that's kind of protected from government shutdowns, that's protected from pandemics. It's always protected. In fact, I think a memorandum came out under the current administration. They said they wanted to increase the defense budget to 1.7 trillion in 2027. That's beautiful for us because we know we know what's going to happen, right? Maintenance got to happen. They're going to always purchase, and it doesn't matter which industry. It can be toiletries, it can be pharmaceuticals, fiber optics, electronics, aviation, medical supplies. Guess what? They have to spend. Everything we use in the civilian sector, they use in the government sector, right? If you went to boot camp, we stayed in beds, we stayed in barracks. That barracks had to get built by some government contractor. We had to go shop at the NEX. The NEX was supplied by some government contractor. NEX is like Walmart to the civilian sector, right? So you have civilians that are supplying the government Walmart with all of these, toiletries. It could be chicken. I don't care what it is. We can sell it to the government. I've sold. I'm not even gonna tell you some of the stuff I've sold, but I sell everything. I'll tell you that much for sure. You can go ahead, Phil.
I'll jump into a couple things I've sold a little bit further into this as well. You can either choose an LLC, corporation, or other structure. A lot of individuals that come to our community choose the traditional LLC. And once they choose a traditional LLC or corporation, it does have to be set up in a specific manner. When you're dealing with the government, they do not accept virtual addresses, PO boxes, or mailboxes. So when you're starting your company, you do want to have a physical address. So you can use your home, apartment, storefront, warehouse, just somewhere you can receive mail. And that's not a virtual agent either. So outside of that, once you do have that information, when it comes to your company name, when you're choosing a name for your LLC, you do not want to be niche specific. You want to choose a broad name, so and so corporation, so and so logistics, so and so solutions, sourcing. It's broad. It doesn't tie you to a specific product or market. You can sell whatever you want. So once you finish that process of creating your LLC, having your EIN, your articles, company email and bank account, that's when we can get started with government registration. Did you want to throw anything in there, Pete?
Yeah, so just real big on, that company name, not being niche specific, this specific niche that we're in, one of the biggest mistakes, or not the biggest, but one of a big mistake that a lot of small businesses make is appearing small. And something as simple as your name can make the biggest difference. So I'm very religious, right? So imagine me making a company name, Jesus Loves Us LLC, and I decide I want to start selling aviation supplies to the government. But then on the other side of that, you got a contracting officer that's an atheist. You think you're gonna ever give me a contract? Absolutely not. Right. So you want your company name to not be niche specific. Make it real broad and international as a surname, enterprises, solutions, logistics, things of that nature. So what you can even, if you want to talk about legacy, let's use TK as an example, right? It could be prior international or TP logistics, TP solutions, TP enterprises, right? So think about that when you're creating your company name, when you're getting into this space. Think big. If you feel like you thought big, think bigger. Because that company name can make or break you.
Now you do have to obtain your EIN, and these are just regular qualifications of starting a company. So you would have to obtain your EIN when you're starting your small business. Then you would have to then go through the SAM registration. This is the part of the process that we walk individuals through because it is a very sensitive and tedious process. It is a long questionnaire, and it usually takes me and Paris, I want to say, a good 15, 30 minutes to go through the beginning stages of this thing. But it takes about 7 days to even get this information, UEI and cage code. Um, that way you are able to go through the next step, the next phase of bidding on contracts. So we walk you through that entire process because it could take 7 days, but if you screw up one of those answers, it could take a month or more. So we do assist with that entire process, which is a major benefit as well. You want to add anything, Pete?
Yeah, there's certain components of the registration that, I run into quite often. Like you may have someone who's already in the government contracting space, but they're on the service side. So they already have their cage code, they already have their unique entity ID. However, their NAICS codes and their product service codes are not up to code with what we do. So now we have to go in and make sure all of your NAICS codes are correct based on what we're selling. All your product service codes or federal supply classes are in accordance with what we're selling. So it's still a strenuous process. You can figure it out. It may take you a little bit longer, but like Phil said, we help you through that entire process, holding your hand through the whole registration process, telling you exactly what to put down in certain areas. There are certain things I want to touch on. So like if you are a felon, for example, you can still get into government contracting. However, the government want to just make sure you have been rehabilitated. I've had felons come to us and ask like, "Hey, can I get into this?" And I'll be like, "Are you off parole or probation?" And they say, "Yeah, I'm off that," And I'm like, "Absolutely," because you have to be transparent with the government. They're going to ask you, those questions. Have you been convicted of a felony in the past 2 years? They're going to ask you tax questions. So if you evading taxes, this is not the space for you. And even as a felon, some of the things that they care about is like money laundering. Like you can't be a pedophile or, things of that nature, right? But as long as you can prove that you have been rehabilitated, you can definitely have access to this information in the industry as well.
We have a few felons in our community that are doing great every month. Definitely. All right, and next codes, just wanted to touch on that a bit. What Paris just talked about minutes ago. Next codes, federal supply classes, those are just different classes of products that you can sell. There are next codes for different industries. Next codes for professional equipment. Next codes for office supplies. Next codes for medical supplies. When we're registering you, we're giving you a list of next codes to enter into your information. That way, you now have a broad range of classes and areas that you can bid on contracts in, because when they look you up and they want to award you a contract, they'll see that NAICS code there and see that you do specialize in that industry. And it makes it easier for them to classify whether they want to give it to you or not based on a few other factors.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
What is your primary source to look for these contracts? And what particular are you using SAM.gov or are you using different tools?
We oh go ahead, Pete.
Well, SAM.gov is a lot of service contractors. They tend to stick with SAM.gov. We do not specialize or work with SAM.gov whatsoever. The only time we use SAM is when it comes to registration. Now you have other tools like, the DLA, you have NICO, you have NAV Supply, you have different agencies that we specialize in when it comes to products. So those are the ones that we use.
Okay. The reason being, I built my own tool actually, and it pulls a lot of contracts from SAM.gov. I don't like SAM.gov, but its interface is terrible.
Nice.
But I built a tool where you can put a NIC code in and see the entire federal space as to who's doing what. So it's pretty neat. And plus all the contracts.
That's amazing. That's
But
amazing.
that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about when you're finished.
Okay, most definitely.
Anyone have any other questions before we go further?
Rohini has her hand up.
Oh, go ahead. You can what's up? That they'll mute themselves.
Yeah, so so the process, if you can just talk about that a little bit, how does it work? Yeah.
Absolutely. As far as the process, we're definitely going to dive into that a little bit further once we go through a few of the slides and open it up for Q&A. Before we open it up, we'll go through our process as far as everything that we provide, the services and our community and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the GovCon space is a very happening space. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, and size standards. Now basically when we mean determine small business eligibility, you can actually register your small business with the SBA, so you can have that set aside. Outside of that, even when you just register, you already are qualified as a small business due to the amount of employees that you already have. So a lot of individuals don't have to go to the SBA to register as a small business, but if you do want to have all your ducks in a row and be viewed in certain areas, you can go to the SBA to register as a small business set aside.
Because you are self-certifying. So whether you're a veteran, women-owned, or small business, that's just a self-certification. It doesn't really hold much weight under this current administration. However, that's why you go to the SBA and you take the proper protocol to get your service-disabled veteran-owned small business set-aside certification, as well as women-owned small business or hub zone or 8A small business. So that's just making sure you're taking the proper steps to have everything documented on paper.
Yeah.
Okay, now certifications, and we went over this, the Women on Small Business Service Disabled Veteran on Small Business and Hubs all. Now, these, he actually had a question about this. This is where you can find some of the opportunities as well. And now understanding a solicitation. Now, we usually we only handle RFQs. We don't do IFBs or requests for proposals. The request for quotes are the about 10 to 11 question one page quote that we submit. Takes about 1 to 2 minutes to submit that bid and you're done. If you're doing service work, you're basically doing a lot of RFPs, request for proposals, which could take about 60 to 90 pages of information. Pete, do you have anything you want to add to that?
So you have two different type of contracts, and I'm sure we're going to get to it. So I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you have your firm fixed price, and then you have your automated indefinite delivery contracts. So in the automated indefinite delivery contract, you also has a subsidiary, so to say, which is basically an invitation for bid. That's the IFB. Those are typically 5-year contracts, and that's what we call indefinite delivery purchase orders. And those contracts, I've won one in my career, and that one contract, total, I took home 1.5 million off that contract, but it was for 5 years, so I made roughly about $300,000 a year, give or take.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
those 5-year contracts are amazing.
They're huge. That's
Oh
what's
yeah.
checking.
And, and that's
I just want to say I saw one. There's one this week for buttons. You wouldn't think about it, but it's from the Department of Justice for $1 billion. They need buttons for the prison system.
oh yeah.
I
And
could
Absolutely.
I couldn't find anybody to fill it. So
yeah, that's about
Okay.
state and local right there. Right now, basically reviewing specifications and delivery requirements when it comes to your contract. When you're dealing with a contract, it does have specifications on deliveries, how you're supposed to deliver to the government and on time. And we're selling items that sometimes have shelf lives. And sometimes these items, people's lives may depend on some of these items. So they do have to be packaged, labeled, and shipped correctly. And we teach individuals how to go through all specifications, every section of your contract after awarded, so you can understand how to execute correctly. In this industry, we all receive company scores, and that's based on compliance, performance, and delivery. So when we're executing the contract, if we're just packaging, labeling, and shipping however we want, they're going to hit you with discrepancies, lowering your score, making it harder for you to receive contracts based on past performance. So we double down on teaching individuals how to review all the specifications and all the delivery requirements after your award. Just want to add anything, Pete?
No.
Okay, NSN and part numbers. Now, this is just identifying the products that you're selling. Every product that you sell will have a NSN and a part number, and that's to identify the exact product that's requested. When you open up a solicitation, they're going to have the NSN, part number, and description. So that way you know exactly what you're looking for specifically, and you know exactly what to source. Now, agency forecast, that's some things that we take a look at as well when it comes time to build relationships and looking for opportunities. I want to know what the government is purchasing right now and the most of, so I can kind of jump into that industry and touch some of that money. And it also plays a big role when you're building relationships as well, when you're coming to individuals, determining, trying to get price breaks. Want to know how much you can get this product for when I'm buying in bulk. I want to know how much the government is going to need so I can understand how much money I can make off these products and where to start building my relationships. You want to throw
And yeah, I want to dive into that one right there. Just like everybody here, we ain't come here for a quickie. We want long-term relationships, right? So when it comes to the government and the agency forecast, if I can build a relationship with a manufacturer and let him and basically explain to him like, hey, this is not a first time buy. I'm not just buying this one product and going about my way, right? I want to build with you. I want to buy as much as possible, right? In fact, the government says in a fiscal year they may purchase over 20,000 of these, and I want to be your distributor to sell these to the government. Now we talk price breaks. Now we're building a relationship. Now we're getting the best pricing on everything so our margins can make the most sense. So now standard margins is what, 15 to 25%. I build a good enough relationship. I'm getting items for much cheaper and I'm marking these things up much higher. So now my typical markup is probably 50%, sometimes 100%. It's not price gouging. I'm gauging the historical data and I just so happen to get a better quote than everybody else. So government do a great job at giving us the blueprint. They tell us what they want, how much of it they want. They tell us who they want to manufacture by, and they even show us how much they paid for it previously. So a good example would be, let's use Boeing. Hey, I'm looking to purchase 500 boats from Boeing. Last time I purchased these boats, I paid $45 for them, and this is the government, right? He's telling me he paid $45. So I go and get a quote from Boeing or Boeing distribution, And they say, hey, look, I can quote you $5 each for one of these boats, Paris. $5 each. Now we got a spread. I'm getting them for $5. Last person sold it to the government for $45. Let me bid at $40. That's how I marked this thing up. That is not price gouging because the government literally told us they paid $45 for it previously. It's just, I did my due diligence and I lived a little bit of bargain shopping and I found the best price. And then I marked it up accordingly. So that became a 700% markup. And that's not my fault. So that's what we call home runs. And I promise you, you will hit a home run every once in a while. Don't bank on it every time. Typical margins, like I say, 15 to 25%. But if I find this price cheap enough and it's coming directly from the approved source and I have traceability to back this, oh yeah, I'm selling it. And I'm marking it up in accordance with the historical data.
Oh yeah, definitely don't feel guilty about that.
Oh, no, not at all. You'd be amazed. Now, bid, no bid decisions. We also teach individuals how to evaluate an opportunity bid. We teach you how to gauge and understand the contract to make sure it's even okay to even put your time in on it. You don't want to waste your time when you're looking for contract opportunities. You can't get mentally fatigued. So you want to understand what areas of the contract that lets you know whether you would be able to fulfill it or not. Some contracts take certain certifications for you to even bid on. You want to know that before you even waste your time to go find that product if you don't possess that certification. Some contracts have levels of inspections to go through. If your company can't handle that inspection, you can't bid on it. So we teach individuals what contracts to look at and teach you how to create filters so you can only see contracts that you have the ability to bid on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Now, product sourcing basis, OEMs and authorized distributors. Now, when the government puts out a solicitation, they'll have the OEM, which is short for original equipment manufacturer. And authorized distributors will be one of their authorized distributors that is also authorized to sell those products for them. And when the government puts out a solicitation, they'll have the OEM on that contract, letting you know exactly who to get that product from or who it needs to trace back to, because that manufacturer makes that product to meet their specifications. The form, fit, and function of that product is being used for the government. So now we have to understand who to get that product from. So when we're taking care of these contracts and supplying these products, we have to go directly to the source, or we have to find a product that meets the government specification. Do you want to add anything, P?
No, sir.
Now, manufacturer relationships. Now, one thing we do that is key in this industry is build direct supplier partnerships. We build these partnerships because we want to have access to these products, and we also want to have access to the best pricing. If I have a relationship with a manufacturer and you don't, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get a better price than you. I'm going to be able to outbid you every single time. So building direct relationships and partnerships can literally get you a better price, or it could cut everybody out from bidding against you. If I become a distributor, you're not getting a quote from this company. Only I am. So that's one of the main reasons why we build relationships in this area. Pete, you want to add something?
No.
Now, obtaining pricing and lead time. Do you want to jump in on that first, Pete?
For sure. So whenever you get a quote from a manufacturer, right? Remember I told y'all how you gauge the historical data, right? So once I get this quote from Boeing and they say I can give it to you for $5, they're also going to put in that quote how long it's going to take for them to get that item to me. So in this case, Boeing has gave it to me for $5 in this quote, and they said they can get it to me in 5 to 7 days. So when I go and bid on this contract, I always want to give myself a buffer, a little bit of wiggle room. So if I can get it to me in 5 days, I have to factor in that I have to package this up. If I don't want to package, I have to now outsource and find a packaging house that can package it for me, which means logistically, I have to plan all of this, right? So I need to give myself time. So if it's going to take 5 days to get to me, realistically, for me to package this thing up, it'll probably take me a few days, right? So I'm telling the government, okay, Mr. Government, I'm going to charge you $40 each for these, and I'm going to get it to you in roughly 30 days. Now, that's also dependent on how much volume you're winning. Right now, I win on a small scale, probably 30 bids a month. I'm winning 30 awards a month. A large scale, maybe 70 contracts being awarded in 1 month, right? So, in my point of scale, I can't tell the government I can get this to you in 30 days because if I'm winning 30 contracts on a terrible month, that means I'm going to be stuck in a house packaging all month. So now I have to basically further these expiration dates out. So now when I bid on contracts, I'm saying 120 days. I'm saying 90 days. Sometimes I say 300 days because I'm too packed. My warehouse is full with stuff trying to get out the door. So I need to give myself time. I'm not in the business of working and being a slave as an entrepreneur, right? So I still want to live my best life. First and foremost, that's always first and foremost. I got family. I got things I got to do for myself at the end of the day. And being a slave to my own company is never in the plans. So I'm always furthering my expiration dates out. That way I'm giving wiggle room. I can travel. I can do whatever I need, or I can outsource. Now I can have companies doing this for me. Once you become profitable in this space, which is would not take that long, now you just wash, rinse, repeat. Throw the money back into the company. Bring on VAs. Hire outsourcing people, to package and things of that nature. So that's pretty much, what that means.
Awesome. Now you hit it on the head. Next, we're going to go to traceability. Now, traceability is what the government needs before they award you a contract. They have to be able to trace this product back to their authorized manufacturer. So once you get a quote, if you're getting it from their authorized manufacturer, you have to provide information from them to the government, letting them know that you're purchasing from their authorized source. If you get it from the distributor, it's just as good as the manufacturer because they are authorized by the manufacturer to distribute that product. So as long as you can show proof and documentation on where you're getting that product from, it's considered traceability, and it makes it easier for them to award you that contract and trust the product that you're selling.
The government is the epitome of you can't finesse success, right? So when they ask for traceability, it's not that they don't trust you. It's just people look at this like this is a free bag for them. So I can get into government contracts, I can run it up, I can leave, I don't even have to deliver the items, right? Wrong. So the government is basically saying, okay, yeah, we kind of trust you, but not all the way. So we're going to ask you to provide this traceability, basically showing me that you are getting it from exactly who you're saying you're getting it from. And it is an approved source that we want it from, right? That traceability could be in the form of a quote from the manufacturer. It can be an authorized distributor letterhead. Um, yeah, so those two traces right there. And sometimes they may ask for safety data sheets. They may ask for a plethora of different things. But as long as you can provide that information, guess what? They're going to give you that contract. And that only happens when you dive into new federal supply classes. So if I'm dealing with the 5305 selling screws, and I'm selling screws all the time, the moment I show and prove I deliver, my performance is good, I deliver on time, my packaging is good, they would never ask me for traceability on screws again. But the moment I try to jump into bolts, they never seen me sell boats. So now they're like, all right, well, I trust you because you're good with screws, but I'm trying to build your trust over here as well. So just send me a little bit of trays. They gonna, add some honey to it. Everything tastes sweeter with honey. So they gonna, add some honey to it because now they know you making money with them. So they ain't gonna just curse you out or be firm. So they're gonna be like, you know what, Mr. Paris, could you please just give me a little bit of trays? Uncle Sam asking for it. So now it's like, all right, let me give you this trace. And then it's on about your business.
There you go. Now, avoiding counterfeits, source only from approved suppliers, and that goes back into what we just talked about. If you're dealing with a manufacturer or their distributors, you can trust that product. We do not venture very far off away from those guys. Sometimes we do, depending on what kind of products that the government will accept. And if I am getting anything outside of the manufacturer and their distributors, I want to make sure they have something tracing that product. If they don't have anything, tracing it back to them, I'm not trusting that product, I'm not buying it, and I'm damn sure not selling it to the government at all. I can't do it at all because that's the easiest way to get your company shut down and end up in handcuffs. So we focus and teach only sourcing from approved suppliers. Pricing strategy, calculating cost, freight, and profit. When we're bidding on a contract, those are things we want to look at, because if you're not looking at those and you're not factoring into your bid, you're doing something what we call a blind bid. A blind bid could come back and bite you every single time you do it, only because there are certain costs that you didn't factor in your bid that can pop up after you win the contract. And now your profit is nowhere near what you thought it was going to be because you didn't factor that into your bid before bidding on it. So when we're looking at contracts, we want to understand what product we're selling, what it actually takes to package, label, and ship this product military standard. And we're calculating the profit that we are going to see off this contract to make sure we're comfortable with it when we bid. Because I don't want to be giving anything back at the end of the day after the government gave it to me. After they awarded me a contract, I want to be able to execute it, spend the money that I know I have to spend prior to bidding on that contract, and no surprises. It's a successful execution. Nothing blindsided me after I win that contract. So when we're winning, we take a look at all packaging requirements to find out how much we're spending on packaging, how much we're spending on labels, how much we're spending on cushioning to protect that package during transit. All of these things you want to factor in. So over time, when you've been through like 1,000 solicitations, you're going to already know the cost because you've done your research on the internet already. And over time, when you're executing these contracts, you're going to look up and see that you have your own packaging facility at home, because you can't buy boxes one by one. You have to buy them in bulk. So you're probably going to need 1 to 2 boxes for a contract. Now you got, and if they sell it to you in bulks of 25, you got 24 other contracts you can use those boxes for. So after a while, you're not even going to have to factor in package labeling and shipping because you've already got extra inventory on hand. Did you want to
Absolutely. Yeah. So another thing that most people don't understand or know is that the government actually pays for shipping. But what we run into a lot with our contractors in our community is that they don't factor in. They automatically think that shipping is taken care of. So when it comes to their cost breakdown, they don't put anything in that block. But they don't factor in that you still have to take care of shipping from the manufacturer to you or from the manufacturer to your packaging facility. So you have to be mindful of that. And we teach you exactly how to go about pricing, how to go to FedEx.com and get the address to the manufacturer and put your address to get estimates on shipping, to go to certain, websites to get dimensions on the items that you're going to be purchasing. And, so you can understand exactly what size packages or boxes you're going to need. So we teach you, we walk you through that entire process once you win your contracts for sure.
evaluation factors: price, delivery, compliance, and past performance. These are all factors that come into play when a contracting officer is awarding you a contract. Now, as a new contractor with a new company, you just opened within like what, about last 30 days ago. Um, that does not matter. They give you enough rope to either swing or hang yourself. They will award you a contract just to see how you perform, just because they don't see any contracts under your belt. Winning a contract is one of the easiest things in this process. Executing it is what your company relies on. So if you have one contract and you didn't execute them and you didn't comply well, that's when they're taking a look at that past performance to see, do I trust this person to deliver on time? Do I trust this person to deliver military standard? And they look at their delivery. Did this person deliver to us late last time? Or, oh, this person is always on time with their deliveries and they have a great price and good past performance. It's a no-brainer. You know,
Absolutely.
yep. And compliance, they want to make sure you've been compliant, or they're going to ask you for your capability statement. That capability statement is what we provide in our community as well, letting the government know what you're capable of. It lets them know how you're going to remain compliant, how you're going to source products from approved sources, what your company provides, and how you execute. So once you get that over to them as well, you're all good to roll. These are all the factors that they are going to take a look at when you're bidding on contracts, especially the price, especially the price. The government always wants to save money. So if my price is cheaper than yours and I don't even have past performance, I can win.
I like that. Well, I have a question though
Mhm.
regarding compliance. Um, are, are we going to touch on FedRAMP compliance, or does that even touch what you
That
guys
that
are?
well, that doesn't apply to product sales. The only compliance measure that truly applies to us is cybersecurity maturation model.
Mm-hmm.
CMMC,
Yeah, CMC.
whether it's level one, level two, also NIST, JCP, things of that nature. Government is real big on IP. So
Yep.
those are the only compliance measures that truly apply to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
that's actually something we provide in our community as well. Those certifications, we help you out with that process. Did you want to add anything to this, Pete?
No, you hit the nail on the head.
Submitting quote, follow follow solicitation instructions exactly. When you're submitting a quote, um, that's something you want to take a look at thoroughly. You want to also make sure you meet the requirements to even bid on that contract. You want to make sure you've read that contract specifically to make sure you're able to follow the instructions after being awarded. You know, when we're submitting quotes, on the other side, when we're submitting out quotes to manufacturers, distributors, things of that nature, we want to also be looking for information from them as well. We want to make sure that that product has been tested, that that product has been conditioned in the right manner before they even sell it to us. So before we buy that product, we're going to float them down a list of requirements as well to make sure that this product is durable, it actually works, and has been tested before it's been sent to us. And a lot of the times they will provide that information upon request. That way you can take a look at it before you make your purchase. But all of those requirements are going to be in your solicitation. You just want to make sure whoever you're purchasing that product from is also following the requirements when it comes to testing that product.
And
Uh,
to pretty much add to that, so the government, as I stated before, they does a great job at giving you the blueprint. And that solicitation is literally going to tell you exactly what this solicitation entails, whether you need to be CMMC level one, level two certified. Another thing I want to touch on is Buy American Act. We all saw the movie War Dogs, right? We know how that ended and why it ended that way, besides somebody being greedy. But also, there was something that happened in that movie that most people didn't pay attention to. They sourced those items from China. They told the government it wasn't from China. That's the Buy American Act. We don't do business with China. So when you're putting your bid in, it's literally it's in bold letters, Buy American Act. Are you sourcing is these a domestic end product, or are you getting it from a non-qualifying end country, or are you getting it from a qualified end country? So we do business with different countries, like maybe Switzerland or England or even Canada, right? But you can't tell the government, hey, I'm getting this domestic, and then go to Alibaba and find an item and think you're gonna sell it to the government, right? You're going to the feds for sure. And it'll piss me off if the contract is $5,000 and you done went to the feds for 5 years over a $5,000 contract. Now, this sounds crazy, but there's a gentleman who actually went to the federal penitentiary because he was an OEM. He was an original equipment manufacturer. He was bidding on contract that only required technical documentations, meaning he can make these items. Now, government does a great job at giving us the blueprint. They told this gentleman, hey, I want you to manufacture these items with this specific steel, right? The steel was as specific as possible. And he provided alloy type steel and made it seem as if he provided the exact steel they were looking for. Now, this was a critical application item. Now, when it's critical application, this may be going on a jet that's going to get troops over to Afghanistan, right? We know that certain metals could not withstand certain heats and pressures, right? So if it's alloy, it would not be able to withstand certain temperatures or pressures. And he provided alloy. They inspected it, and long story short, he did 5 years in a federal penitentiary. And he's back out, still doing it. Once y'all get in, he might even try to send you quotes. And I'm gonna have to tell you, that's the dude I was telling y'all about. His name is Ross Hyde. I don't care. I'm gonna give him to you. Ross Hyde. You can look him up. ROSSHYDE. Look him up. Ross Hyde, government contractor. He went to the federal penitentiary for not providing what they asked for. So, yeah.
I almost bought from him when I first started. Almost did. He had a lot of information and a
And
lot
how
of
I found out, I don't mean to cut you off. How I found out was so there's few things, and there's a saying that my uncle Jay Z he quotes. He say Hove did that, so hopefully you wouldn't have to go through that, right? Now that saying, I stick with it, right? I love it because I literally went through any and everything that you could potentially go through in this space. I've been blackballed. I thought I was going to the federal penitentiary. I was just new. I didn't know what was going on. I was just trying my hand at everything to see what I can get away with, what was right, what was wrong. And of course, I didn't do anything that bad to the point where they're like, oh, no, you're banned from doing government contracting. But I pushed it to the limit, right? So when it comes to this guy, Ross Hyde, I reached out. He was giving me quotes. I mean, he was giving me a whole list of things. And I'm like, oh my God, this year one for me. I'm like, I found somebody. I'm about to go crazy with this guy. And I won a contract to a quote that he quoted me on. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm going to send over a purchase order. Do you accept credit or what payments do you accept? And he said he only accept ACH. Now, to most people, you will look at that and be like, oh, that's fine. Let me just send you my bank account details. So I asked him about credit card. He was like, well, we don't accept credit card. That raised a red flag. What professional industry in a government contracting space don't accept credit card or don't have a payment processor? I don't care about the 4% fee. That's totally fine. But when he said he don't accept that, that just made me dive deep into that rabbit hole. I need to see who this guy is. Now I'm going to Better Business Bureau. He had terrible reviews on there. I'm going to Google reviews. I'm going to everything to do my due diligence before I wire this guy $15,000 for these materials, right? And come lo and behold, this guy went to the federal penitentiary and he's back at it. So you guys, you're going to learn. Like when we say we hold your hand through the entire process, we know exactly what to look for. We're going to teach you how to spot BS. We're going to teach you every aspect of this industry. You can go ahead, Phil.
There we go. Now, winning your first award, respond quickly and accurately. Now, when we win our first award, you're going to have a certain amount of time to get that award over to the government. And the amount of time that you're going to have is the time that you put on your bid. So if the government said they needed that product in 90 days, and when you were bidding on the contract, you put 30 days, when you win that contract, your delivery date is going to be 30 days away from that award date. If you put 90 days, when you win that contract, your delivery date is going to be 90 days away from that award date. So when you win that contract on the first day, you want to go to sourcing your product. Send your purchase order out to whoever you're purchasing that product from so you can get it over to you in a timely manner. We always want to deliver early. We now want to start purchasing our packaging supplies. We now want to purchase the things that go into packaging, preserving this item to send over to the government. If there is anything wrong with this contract, let's say I bid on this contract 4 months ago and they're just awarding me now. That can happen. I've been awarded 24 hours after bidding before, and it's times where I've been awarded about 10 months after bidding. It varies. That's why we treat it as a numbers game. But let's say I won the contract 4 months after I bidded on it. Call the manufacturer up. Oh man, we no longer have this product. Or we no longer have it for this price. We have a certain amount of time to respond to the government and let them know the changes that have to be made within that contract. And if you respond in that allotted amount of time, they will not ding you negatively. You could successfully cancel that contract if you would have to. Or I'm going to request we do a price change because you awarded this to me 4 months after I bid on it. It's not the same price, which should be understandable. So I need to be able to know everything I can do after an award just so I can be able to execute it successfully. But when you're awarded, you want to get that product, you want to order that product the same exact day so you can deliver early. Delivering early is always does great on that company score.
Absolutely.
You want to add?
No, sir.
Purchase order. Now, understanding the contract documents. Now, when you are looking at your contract or your purchase order, you want to be able to understand everything that needs to go into that purchase order. If we're sending a purchase order over to the manufacturer, we also want to have the testing requirements also attached to that purchase order. They may ask for a purchase order, or they may provide you with a credit card form or things of that nature in order to fill that out, and they'll process your payment that way. Now, when we're talking about a government purchase order, you want to be able to understand, and well, that would be considered a purchase request. That's the same thing as a solicitation. And we went over that earlier. That's just understanding everything that comes along with that solicitation to gauge whether you'd like to execute it or not.
Absolutely.
Packaging requirements. You would have to understand military packaging requirements in order to be able to package, label, and ship correctly. This is very in-depth and it is very critical. Your company relies on these aspects, and your payments rely on these aspects. So if you're doing anything outside of their standards, they will ding you, and it will take them longer for them to process that packaging, which will take longer for you to get paid. Everything is net 30 over here. So you get paid in about 25, 30 days after they receive that product. But we do have fast pay contracts, and we also have a net 10 term. So if your spread is wide enough, the government will charge you 2% to pay you out in 10 days.
Absolutely.
Shipping products, shipping products. Now you have to coordinate compliant delivery. Now, again, the government pays for all of our shipping. It's just really up to us to make sure we package, label, and ship these things correctly. Even if it's a palletized shipment, the government is going to actually come pick that up from us once we schedule the pickup date. So that's something that we actually take care of as well. And we talked about this previously as well. When it comes to shipping your products over to the government, we walk you through that entire process until you're ready to take the training wheels off and execute correctly.
100%.
All right, pie and invoicing. Now, we want to be able to get paid after we get a contract off. And when we are executing a contract, right after we're done packaging, labeling, and shipping, I'm going to put in my invoice and receiving report. I want them to know exactly what I'm shipping to them, and I want them to know how much I'm charging. So that way they can receive that information and know what they're expecting. They want to know exactly what's coming in the mail within about 3 to 5 days. And they want to be able to check this thing in and submit that goods receipt so they can post a payment date for you. So submitting and receiving invoices are very critical, and we also walk you through that process as well so you can get paid on time and they know exactly what to expect.
Yep.
All right, getting paid. Now, we want to be organized when it comes to getting paid. I have a spreadsheet with all of the contracts I've ever executed. I have what I pay for the products, what I pay for shipping, my profit, credit card charges, things of that nature. And I got the dates I was paid. And I just want all of that information for tax time. I want all that information to match up with the government's information as well. So you can actually get on their site and see exactly when you're getting paid. You can see exactly when they accepted your ship, and they're going to put that actual payment date on there after they post that goods receipt. So we walk you through how to track your payments and how to find out when the government received the product that you shipped to them. Because rarely, I'm going to say 3 times out of the 5 years I've done government contracting, they screwed up on my package. 3 times out of the past 5 years. And that's when you got to go the extra mile to provide proof of delivery. And I want to get paid on time, so I want to get that proof of delivery over to them on time as well. So that way they know they've accepted it, they know who signed for it, and they can go ahead and post that goods receipt. So we help you with every single aspect, even if you have any payment issues. There's not an issue with your payment that we don't know how to handle. It will get taken care of in a timely manner because we teach you the proper authorities to contact to get the ball rolling on that. Just want to add, P?
No, sir.
There we go. So here, I do want to open this segment up for Q&A as well, and also top it off with going over the requirements and what we actually offer as a community.
So if you have questions, you can unmute yourself. You can raise your hand. You can put your questions in the chat.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a question real quick.
What's up,
So
Kyle?
what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Great, great.
Amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's nice too. You got the floor to ceiling windows. They hard. But
That's a
so
backdrop.
we're tech based. We coming up on year 5 right now this month actually. We got our UEI cage code and all that stuff, but we never really bid it. But we have good amount of relationships and stuff. But my main question is being tech based. Because my company is formed in Georgia, but I'm out in like the VA, DMV area. My question is, do I have to get a foreign entity out in like Virginia because like to do bids with the government or like to do work with the government?
This is federal, brother. the government understands that majority of us in this space is in all the different states, even Puerto Rico, we have members. With you being in this specific niche of technology,
Hmm.
now you have to ask yourself, besides services, what technology items could be sold, right? Think of computers, think of fiber optics, think of, I mean, you name it. A lot of stuff revolves around tech, but think of the actual things that house the technology. That's what you can sell to the government, right?
Okay.
Without providing that service.
Okay. Got you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all your
Absolutely.
proper NAICS code, federal supply classes to actually tap in to see what they're looking for now pertaining to the industry you have your hands on already.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys a question. So regarding, I deal with business intelligence in the Fed space. I've been in the Fed space for 25 years. But, I have this tool in which you can see, mostly all these federal contracts and how much they're bidding on them on. But it also does an automated RFP response and you can edit it. So I was just trying to figure out exactly if someone's going to be in this space, I think you'd have to really get some good business intelligence to find out exactly, you know, based upon NAT code, exactly, what um, areas is really good for their particular product and how much, it's going for. And if I have all that information, I think that would be a pretty good advantage, at least strategically, because some people like to use like GovWin or Bloomberg, but
Hmm.
that's really totally expensive because they're paying like $50,000 a year with GovWin, and Bloomberg is just that around that. And I built a tool that will basically give you all that data and more for much, much cheaper. So,
Well,
but
you also have to cater to the government contractor, right? You can't just automatically assume that they're in a financial space to afford these tools. So let's take it to the foundational frame and the foundational level of things, right? The way we like to teach is crawl, walk, run. I don't want you to automatically come in and thinking you need a tech, a software or something like that. It's just like if you was to start a franchise with Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, you first got to understand how to sweep the floors before you flip the patties. And then when you flip the patties, you got to know how to do the deep fryer and not things like that before you get to the cash register. And then when you get to the cash register, you got to know how to manage this place, right? So we like to teach in that regard. We teach you all the foundational tools so that when it's time to delegate, when it's time to bring people on board, when it's time for software, now you've done the old school way so long, you're like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Instead of just throwing this software at you like you need this software when really you don't, right? You can get in here before software. When I first started, I didn't have a software and I did like $600,000 my first year, right? That was gross, but I still won contracts with no software. Once I added the software, oh,
oh yeah, exponentially.
oh my God, this software just 10x all of my productivity now,
Exactly.
right? But I like
Yep.
to tell people, hey, once you come in, learn the ropes first before you start diving into all this other stuff. Because then you're basically backtracking. Now you did the software first, and you don't even know how to work the system. And now when you run into problems, you're like, you don't know what to do with yourself. You're like a chicken with its head cut off because you've been relying on this AI, right?
No, it's
So,
AI is very powerful.
oh,
Uh,
it's
it,
scary powerful.
it's
Absolutely.
it is no joke.
I was the old school guy that was like, oh,
Yeah.
you gonna get that chat GBT. All right, they're gonna put a bug in your phone. Like I was that guy. Like I was
No,
scared to get into AI at first.
no, no,
Sure.
no, this tool is really powerful. I mean, I mean, I've had a lot of clients and they love it, but I was just gonna, for this environment, I think it'd be really good for mid-market and small business.
No, that's amazing, brother.
Mhm.
All right, and I
Yep.
wanted to say something. We do have two more questions coming up, but Paris, one of the things that really gravitated me to what you were doing because of the innovation you guys do have. Now, I love your system. It's best to be taught the old school way, so you do know what you're doing. But can you just give an overview of the innovative tools that you guys have created to take the contracting process to the next level?
Absolutely. So we'll let Ben and Henry ask their questions, and then we're gonna dive into some of the innovative tools we've brought on board to help our contractors as well. So Ben, go ahead. What you got for me, boss?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for sharing your knowledge. This is really helpful, informative, outstanding. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question around the packaging and delivery.
Okay.
as a home-based business, are you able to kind of share some of your thoughts and resources in regard to once you get the contract and the delivery is brought, you have to package it. Now, uh, if you don't have a warehouse, what are your thoughts in regard to ensuring that you're able to, package it correctly and just some of those logistics around packaging?
So
Now, the
can I take this one, Phil?
oh, you got
You
the
actually get to get this
camera
real
right in
time.
front of
So this right here is some assembly gel that's used for ultrasounds, right? Now, what
Mhm.
I did with this particular thing, and this is just a small bulk, I actually bought all the stock because I did the forecast and I didn't want nobody else to bid on this. So I bought all their stock out for this assembly gel, right? I'm petty as hell, excuse me. Bought all the stock. But however, if I'm not at the warehouse, I'm packaging up right here in my house. Right. So when it comes to Mill Standard 129 or ASTM D3951, that's just your packaging and labeling standard. So you're not buying items out the gate that's going to be, over 50 pounds, right? Like you're able to see all of this stuff prior to even bidding on this contract. So I
Mhm.
tell people, hey, if it exceeds 50 pounds, you don't want to, scuffle your hardwood floor up, getting this stuff into your house. If you have a garage, maybe right? Now you can bring on bigger, bulk items and stuff like that. But if you're dealing with, and I can show you just real time stuff that I got sitting in my space, like this is just a check valve I'm selling to the government, right? This is not a it's not heavy. It's 15 of these things, and I can just package these things up, put them in a box, ship it off to the government, going about my business, right? So that's pretty much you can do everything from your house starting out. The government understands, and just like any major corporation has started off at home in their
Right.
parents' home, in the parents' basement, the garage, from Apple, Google, Amazon, you name it, right? So the government gets that. Now, I have a saying, it's okay to go through hell, but don't get used to the temperature, right? So as you are working out your house, like the government, they anticipate you to scale. They don't expect you to keep working out your house now. So you got to scale. It's inevitable, right? Now you get your warehouse space, or you get your office suite, or you can get one of those. It's like Cube Smart. I don't know the name of those. It's like
Self storage.
yeah, you can get that as well and work out of it,
Yep.
right? So the government understands that. But year one, I anticipate you working out of your home. I
Got
anticipate getting on Zoom calls with you, and we on Zoom, and you in your kitchen. I hear you do it in the background, and I'm just like, nope, you did that wrong. I anticipate that. But year two, it's like, all right, Ben, what we doing, brother? What we doing?
All right. Appreciate you.
and outside,
Absolutely.
outside of that, we teach you again the crawl, walk, run method. We're not going to have you getting ordered turbines to your home when you first start out. You're going to be ordering, small parts, things that can fit in military standard packaging like this, and
Gotcha.
you ship out the same day. When I first started out, my contracts weren't lasting more than 24 hours. As soon as it came in the mail and I got that notification, went and picked it up, pulled it out, packaged, labeled, and shipped it, and got it off the same exact day. Nothing stayed in my garage. Now, when
Perfect.
they started trusting me more and I started winning more contracts consistently, that garage started getting filled up. And now I have built up enough revenue. Now it's time to look for warehouse space.
Yep.
Or if I got homies that's doing this, we're gonna share us a space. We're gonna get our contracts executed there. We're gonna rock out. But from starting out, I was packaging, labeling, and shipping in the kitchen next to the bread. Every
Gotcha.
time. So it is extremely manageable to do from home without a warehouse starting and starting out as a fresh contract.
And you're gonna know when it's time to scale. Like when you get to the point where you have a living room full of aviation supplies and you don't own a plane, it's time to scale, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
jumping over rotors and stuff just to get to the kitchen sink. Like it's time to get up out of there, brother. For sure. I hope that answered your question,
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you.
my man. Henry, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Hey guys, doing good. I wish I could put my picture up, or turn my camera on, but whatever. So you guys provide a step-by-step plan of, how to go from zero to government
Hero.
contract hero, yeah?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. I'm very interested in that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
however way I get involved, please let me know.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. When we say
Appreciate you.
hands on, you're meeting with us about 3 to 4 times a week. You literally become family, whether you like it or not. We meet 3 to 4 times a week. So you have your set one-on-one session with us every single week. And
Okay.
you get pick that, yeah, you get to pick that date and time each week because we don't know what your schedule looks like. And we
Okay.
don't want to set a meeting up for you and you may miss it, and that prolongs the learning process. So we want you to pick the date and time that's comfortable with you so you can make each of your meetings and we get the ball rolling day one. Outside of that, we do have Wednesday night power hour sessions, and that's where we're going over a lot of solicitations, sometimes solicitations before they even came out, just so you guys get understanding on who to build the relationships with. Based on historical information, how do I come up with the most competitive bid? How do I gauge these packaging requirements so I know how to factor that into my bid as well? So those Wednesday night power hour sessions are filled with a ton of information on strictly executing a government contract and coming up with the most competitive bids. Our Sunday night community sessions at 7 p.m. Central Time, that's for our entire community to come out. We have a unlimited Q&A. That's more family based. We joking on there. We letting our hair down. We having shot o'clock just to loosen people up. If you do drink, some of us don't, but outside of that, we like a real family. But we're more so professional in business. We like a family, but it's time to get down to business. Even your family has to put on their serious face when it's time to talk business. So when we are having those Sunday night sessions, we're giving you guys the floor to ask unlimited questions. Imagine if this session was just filled with just questions and no slideshow. That's what you're looking at. And now we're sharing our screens to demonstrate the answers. So you guys start getting a viewpoint of what milestones you're going to hit from beginner contractors down to experienced contractors and how to execute when you get there. So it's a ton of game that you can gain outside of those one-on-one sessions from individuals who's doing six figures to $1 million in a month. Information you can use the very next day. We share our strategies like a real family. It's not a community if we don't work together and we don't build together.
And I'll say they work together good as a family, and Field has a pretty decent bowling game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure did. He tore it all up.
No, I don't care. Paul beat us. Yes, all right. Thank you, Paul, but no thank
Paul showed up.
you.
He showed out.
So I want to, pretty much dive into the software tools that we have to pretty much help the government contractor at a certain point of scale. And we created this tool centered around our training methods, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Do I have the permission?
Let me stop the share on my end. Which platform are you gonna go into right now?
Show Bidway.
Oh yeah, John, you're gonna love this.
So here's Bidway. This is where pretty much it's a one-stop shop. You no longer need spreadsheets. It's a full CRM as well as government data. So you stop tracking contracts and spreadsheets, everything you need to pretty much run your DLA bidding operation, solicitation tracking, auto sync, vendor management, market analysis, deadline alerts, email, workflow pipeline from find, source, quote, submit. I'll just log in and show you guys. I think when we had one before, we were scared to even talk about this, but now we actually launched it on June 1st. So we actually live. So let me log in real quick and I'll show you what it looks like. So from a sales perspective, here is the main page, right? So you're able to look at contract types, whether it's firm fixed, which is one-time buys, or automated indefinite delivery contracts, which are annual contracts. You can filter based on price range. If I want to see, contracts 50,000 or greater, I can just set my filter. You can select your inspection or acceptance FOB. So in this case, delivery is going to be origin, and inspection is going to be destination, and you can set your unit issue.
For a quick overview, before you even start throwing in the rest of those filters, when it says delivery FOB origin, that means the government is paying for all your shipping to them. That's a strategy we use so where we don't have to pay for shipping with them. It saves us a lot of money. Your inspection point wants to be destination because you want the government to inspect that product when it gets to them. You don't want them coming to your home, your business address to inspect that product and you have zero testing machinery or equipment there to test the way they may need it to be tested on site. So we want to make sure the inspection is at destination so they inspect it when it gets to them.
Absolutely. And so let's just say, I want to see all the contracts that don't have technical documentations. I also want to see all the contracts where the manufacturer does not bid direct. So once I hit search, I'm going to see all the contracts based on my filters. So these are all big contracts. Like I say, these are contracts price range 50,000 to 250,000 or greater. And we're able to see all the information on this specific solicitation. So even if I wanted to see this helical, the spring helical compression, I could just hit preview and I can see, okay, well, this is a NavAir and NavC managed original. I can see all the historical data. I can see this was just awarded June 29, 2026 by Coiling Technologies, and they charged the government $4,990, right? You're able to see everything when it comes to the solicitation. You see the set asides. So let's just say I wanted to see just, veteran owned set asides. I want to see just veteran only. I can hit search, and now these are all SDVOSB set aside contracts. So now I can preview it. Let's say I like this one, right? This is by Oshkosh. This is by Seats. And I say, you know what? I'm going to go with this one. I got a quote already. Let's go with it. I'm going to import this solicitation. I'm going to view it. And from here, you see the entire pipeline. So let's just say I got a quote, right? I'm going to add my quote. I got it from Seats. And Seats say, you know what? I'm going to charge you $2 each, right? So once I add that quote, I can accept the quote. And guess what? Now I can do a cost breakdown based on the quote that I received. So now when it comes to package and material, package and labor, admin label, sales tax, shipping, or even if I want to mark this thing up 50%, it automatically adds that cost to it. I can save my cost. I can go through the entire pipeline, literally from A to Z. Once I do that, I can submit my bid based on this right here. So my bid is going to be $2,499. Confirm my submission. Congratulations, you submitted your first bid. Let's say I won this thing. All right, contract number. I can confirm my win. All right, this thing has been won. So now we can actually go and take this to my actual project, right? So now we're going to see the full life cycle of this thing from awarded to order placed to shipped to delivered to paid to completed. We can also make labels here. We can put our tracking information. We can do everything right here. Full CRM, from contacts, customers, vendor solicitations, operations wise. Even if you had staff, right? Now you can create tasks for your staff, your virtual assistants. When it comes to intelligence, guess what? We have full market analysis on whatever federal supply class you want to see, from highest demand categories, most competitive, trending down categories, trending up categories, top approved sources, as well as hidden gems. This is my favorite because I'm able to see all the manufacturer, or i.e. low hanging fruit. This is the stuff people not looking at, right? And I can see if they bid direct or not. So now I can build relationships with any one of these manufacturers, and I can see what else they got out there, basically. So in this case, I'll take it a step back. I'm going to go here and kind of show you how to reverse engineer a manufacturer. So let's use example. I was going to say example, but this company is ironically named Example Manufacturer. So I can literally copy their cage code, and I can see what other opportunities they have out there based on their cage code. So there's 4 other solicitations that the government want to purchase directly from Example, right?
So
Every last one of these need to be manufactured by Example Manufacturer.
and just to throw something in there, instead of you just bidding on one contract that you saw, this is how you maximize the potential to bid on multiple contracts and actually build a relationship with that manufacturer. You now know everything the government wants from that manufacturer, so you can now send them a bulk request for quote for all of those. Hey, I need pricing on all of these so I can place bids on all of them. And if I win some of these contracts and I make probably 1 to 5 purchases with that manufacturer, I can possibly go on net 30 terms, meaning I don't have to pay for the product outright anymore. They give it to me. They give it to me on consignment. I pay them when the contract pays out. So this is a great way to reverse engineer and look at multiple opportunities with one manufacturer instead of just looking at that one solicitation and keeping it moving. We teach you how to maximize the potential of every single relationship you come across.
Now, remember I showed you guys how I bought out all the stock of that assembly jail? I did that because I just looked at the forecast, right? I saw exactly how much the government was going to purchase in a fiscal year, and I literally bought it all because I know they're going to purchase X amount, and I got it all. So you can't bid on it if you wanted to. Or when you talk about scale, now I'm getting into supply chain, because if you do want to bid on that, you have to come to me to get a quote. So now I'm making semi-passive income just selling commercially to you. So I got it for this price. You come to me for a quote. All I'm going to do is mark it up. I'm going to make a couple dollars off each one of these that you order. And now I'm making money quoting other companies. So that's a whole nother, beast that we'll talk about, at some point. But yeah, once you get to a certain point of scale, You get into supply chain, you get into warehousing, you get into manufacturing, you get into so many different things. This is a full ecosystem. I mean, there's so many different things you can do in this space to the point where, and I don't know what a lot of you all do for a living, but if I was able to quit mechanical engineering and I had 12 years plus experience and didn't think twice about it, I promise you, there's no other industry. Maybe the stock market, but there's a huge risk with that reward. With this one, it's just high reward, low risk, you know. So beautiful industry. You know, we have a full ecosystem inside. We hire within everyone that join a community. Once you start winning contracts, you're going to get that call from us for partnership to whether it's teach, whether it's if you're an IT professional, whether you're a software developer, engineer, like everything is in this ecosystem to the point where you don't have to shop nowhere else. And this is your family. So this is Midway.
Quick question too, fellas. Do you guys teach service as well, or only products?
Only
Only
products.
Okay, back.
only products.
Yes, sir.
How'd you like that, John?
Oh, it was good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it was good. Liked it.
Yes, sir. But it's all product based. So we know
Oh,
that you have yours that's more service based, which is totally amazing. And definitely would love to sit down with you and kind of look at, like a SWOT analysis, so to say, and see because the service industry is kind of saturated due to the online gurus talking about it so much. So now,
Definitely.
at some point of
Especially with
scale,
AI now, as you know.
now you got everybody creating softwares.
Yeah,
Everyone's doing
everybody a vibe
everything.
coding.
Yeah. Yeah. I met a guy who is so funny. He's in our community. He joined and um, he decided to use Claude to create a software. And he don't have a tech background, right? I understood this, but when he created this software, I was like, what code are you like? How are you talking or communicating with the AI to even know that you're doing the right thing, right? He was like, I'm just going to get in, and in 5 years I'm going to exit. I say, so you're going to get into acquisition? I say, oh,
Hmm.
really? I say, so you're going to patent this thing? He said, absolutely. I say, well, if you're using AI, I'm pretty sure there's no intellectual property involved, right? He was like, what's that? I say, oh, got you. So yeah, got you. So how you going to sell a company? Most, VCs, they want patents, they want everything, but you can't patent this because it's not your intellectual property. You use public information essentially to create this. He was like, well, I'm gonna talk to my cousin. He does all that IT stuff. I'm like, nah, yeah, I wish you the best of luck, my brother.
Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, social media and chat GPT and AI and ruin a lot of stuff. So just got to get
Definitely.
ahead of it, man. You get ahead of
Definitely.
it and you'll
Well,
definitely win.
we do
Absolutely.
like operate like infrastructure work, like digital infrastructure, so like all the operational back end work
There
as
you
far as
go.
like workflows, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm interested in a lot in what you guys do for real and just who you are as people. You guys are really cool.
And,
Thank
and
you.
and that's what we pride ourselves on, man. Like it's not even how we talking, I'm not the guy that's for one, I'm very humble, I'm God fearing, but when it comes to this space, you can only be yourself, right? And I pride myself on being myself. I'm not going to put on a facade for you all. I love y'all to death. I love all God's children, but I promise you, I'm only going to be me. And I'm not for everybody. I understand that. But I'm real big on psychographics, not demographics, right? I need a bunch of sharks. I don't care about the fish. Give me some sharks. I want number sharks around me. So I want to attract who I am, and that's
Let's
authenticity,
get it.
100%. But we're a family, man. We are a family. I do want to put that out there to y'all. Not a traditional family. We the family that this is the family reunion type family. You kick your shoes off. This is what we call Planet Fitness, no judgment zone family.
I have another question too, because it's product and it involves a lot of distribution. I'm sure it's a lot of other things you guys have to put in time towards. How much of the process do you feel like you can automate and like have it operational?
Well, I would say honestly, you can automate 100% of this process. Now, do you want to automate 100%? Absolutely not. And the reason I say that, like when it comes to packaging, you can automate that. When it comes to like all the solutions we created was because of problems that we ran into. right? So we only created solutions around everything that I genuinely hate about government contracting, and that's admin work and that's packaging. Those are the two things I cannot stand 6 years later in this industry. Starting out, it was the cutest thing in the world. My daughter was packaging with me. She don't even like it no more. So you know it's something about it, right? But now guess what? We scaled to the point where we have a warehouse and we have employees that package for us. If you don't want to get to your own warehouse, you can outsource the warehouses in your vicinity. When it comes to administrative tasks, yeah, you're gonna get tired of sending quotes all day and bidding all day. You know, I was allocating maybe, 3, 4 hours a day up until leaving engineering. And then once I saw what it was capable of, now this is all I was pretty much dedicating my life to, was sitting at the computer to the point where it was like taking a toll on my health. And then I discovered that, okay, well, I can hire a virtual assistant to do all my admin work. The only thing my VA can't do is bid. So now it's like, okay, well, I got my admin work taken care of, my data collection taken care of, I have my packaging taken care of. Only thing I need to focus on now is bidding. Now, if you get tired of bidding, guess what? I'm not going to trust anybody with that business model or that scope of work, right? That's the huge one. That's the money right there. So, if you want to train a family member to do the bidding for you, totally fine. You can't have a VA out of the country when you're dealing with the Department of Defense because, for one, you have to ask permission to bid outside of the country due to IP, due to cybersecurity, due to what the state of the economy and the nation, everything that's going on right now. Cyber attacks is at an all-time high, right? That's why they're buckling down on everything. So when it comes to cyber, they're looking at IP locations, they're looking at everything. So the moment they see you out the country, they're going to lock your account and see exactly what's going on. The moment me and Phil decide to meet up and go over government contracting and log in together, guess what? Both of us going to get locked out, and they're going to ask us, hey, how are you affiliated with Philip's company? Oh, we were just meeting up to go over government contracting. No, I don't like that answer. And it happened to us. So you're learning from a person that literally has went through any and everything that you can potentially experience in this space. So we got you. We got you. What I do say, if you do, or if you are interested, we don't discuss pricing online. We will put a link to our calendar. We do want to talk to you individually. We want to build that relationship. I want to get to know you. I want to see if it is a good fit for you to be in our community and for us to be a part of your life. There's, like I say, we're family. We're very particular on who we allow in our community because we do other things outside of just government contracting. We do factoring. We loan you money. We break bread amongst each other. And the last thing I want is to have somebody join this community who don't have the same core values as us. So it's not a cult. I promise you, we won't be on Netflix in 2035. But we are a family for sure.
So I could co-sign that. Paris and Phil, do you have any closing remarks? Does anybody else have any other questions?
Not a question, but more of a comment. I appreciate the standard. That sounds like something I could get into, and I look forward to that calendar and discuss more about this further and see
Absolutely.
how we can all collaborate.
There we go. Absolutely, my brother.
I definitely appreciate all the knowledge, and I'm definitely interested. So, are we going to receive an email? How will we get correspondence?
I'm actually right now, I'm gonna post the link to our calendar, and you can just go on here. You can book based on your availability. I just added it, and once you get on the calendar, in the comments, just say, hey, you found us through Shantae and TK, and we will make you guys priority because we are booked. We're booked out pretty far, so we will definitely make you priority. And we can probably get y'all on the calendar as early as next week. So disregard what you're gonna see. If it say we booked until September, y'all don't have to deal with that. We'll try our hardest to get y'all on the calendar within the next week or so for sure.
But make sure you put Shantae, TK, Paul on there. Whoever, had you guys privy to our community, make sure you put that on there. That way we can make you guys priority and have you in next week.
Yes, so I have been encouraging everybody.
Thank you.
And I put my Instagram handle out there. So, you guys could check me out on Instagram. You can actually see us packaging. You see our total processes on, our socials. So I put it out there, Gov Conway Paris. Phillips is Gov Conway Phil. And, you can
You have,
message us on there as
you have,
well.
you have a link to mine on there?
I just type mine in.
Okay.
Yeah, so for
So,
those of you that are not acclimated with our organization, I've been encouraging everybody to please drop your contact information in the chat so we can make sure everybody has access to the recording today and has access to booking with Paris and Phil directly. We'll make sure we will keep you posted on any other things happening, future events, but this is specifically for those that are interested in getting involved or finding out how to work with Phil and Paris and their system with the Gov Conway. And I definitely want to do my own attestament to me witnessing them. I did get to spend time with them when they came and did you did your weekend event in DC. You came to DC back in March. And I'm going to tell you that conference at that hotel that you guys did was one of the best rooms I've ever sat in. I've been in the DMV for 22 years, working with contractors on a regular basis. And usually it's either you got to pay probably $1 million to get in a room, or you get surface level education and information, but you never get the detail of what they gave today was gold. What they did at that conference was gold. And just like Paris said, he already went through the ups and the downs and the bads and the good. I remember when you talked about the whole blackball situation when you were at the conference and you said what you had to go through. So the fact that you don't have to try to figure it out for yourselves. You don't try. I've seen so many contractors in the DMV try to do so much, but they have never scaled to the level of what Phil and Paris are doing here. And they are booked out. They're blown up all across the country. The Bitway is their platform. I got to listen to the person that developed it at their conference. It is like you're sitting on the groundwork, and I don't say this often. This is like revolutionary. So if you are very serious about getting into space, I wouldn't recommend anybody but these brothers. And just like they said on the other side, apart from their professionalism, they are really a family. Hanging out with them for the weekend was like being at my own family reunion. And I'm not joking. I mean, the bowling was like competitive as my family used to be back in the day. So it was an experience. And you would think you were just with, they're very down to earth. He is who he is. You're not working with somebody that's stuck up, or even just because they make millions, they're just as real as the regular person getting started. So I can give
But
my testimony to that and highly recommend that you at least have a conversation with them.
I
yeah, I
appreciate
was just
that.
going to second that. I was just going to say that these guys are amazing. We give gold and we try to present gold even if you don't understand what gold is, because like Phil said, they are actually booked months out. So if you guys don't understand the value add that this seminar is, then unfortunately you're going to take the gold and throw it away because you don't understand what gold is. These guys are amazing. Their system is amazing. And I'm just happy to find someone in a boot camp situation. Like he said, he walks you through the whole thing. I've never seen that before. Before, government contracting was a pocket secret where you had to get with somebody who was willing to not gatekeep. It was always a private little secret. This is the first company I've ever seen that shows you the step by step. And it's based on the whole concept. That's why we teamed up with them, because, like I said in the beginning of this webinar, if I extend my network to you, it will extend your net worth, meaning you don't have to make those mistakes. He just said you're learning for someone that already did it. So you shorten your learning curve if you're willing to not go solo dolo, if you're willing to take advantage of these experienced brothers.
And,
Absolutely. And
and
our meetups, I don't mean to cut you off here. Our meetups, like Shantae said, all you got to do is come. We're not selling you on anything. That entire weekend, we didn't have nothing to sell. We just had a good time with our community, right? And we took care of everything. You just come and be yourself, have a good time. You paying for your flight and your room, though. I'm not doing all that. Just come have a good time. That's what our annual meetups is about. First one was DC. Next one we're probably gonna do Puerto Rico or San Diego. So this is, a growing family for sure. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh no, I just wanted to tell Raina I see her. She did it real quick. She just hopped on the calendar.
Okay.
Yes, and they have a lot of testimonials, like you said, Paris. Make sure you put access to your web link so they can see the videos as well before they come to meet with you to get more acclimated. We do have somebody on the call that's currently going through their classes that we work with every day, so this is real. Definitely get in contact with them. What I'm going to do from here, because we did spend a lot of time and this was well valued time, I do invite you guys. We have upcoming events. I believe Phil and Parrish, you are going to be just coming by our next week. We have our monthly webinar for small business resources. And our next monthly webinar happens to be focused on technology and resources you can use to grow your business every day. So we're always bringing, revolution to you. I'll let TK tell you about the guest speaker that's going to be talking about his platform and how he helps businesses as well. So we're all interacting, finding ways we can work hand in hand with each other. Maria is on the call. She's one of our business funders, and she works hand in hand with us on our organizations every day. I came from banking, small business lending. I'm still a loan officer to this day, but we are coming up with strategies, not just teaching people or giving people loans, but showing you how to navigate financially because we know government contracting, a lot of the times people don't go through because of the funding or the money to start or the money they need to do things. Just like Paris and Bill just said, they have their own internal funding structure. So we just want to make sure we're always adding value. I will briefly go over just a little bit of some of the strategies we do and some of the services with all of our companies. We work with over 400 banks nationwide, attorneys, people that can help you with your LLC and business structuring. Phil and Paris said they help you with going through the SAMs process. So we're always just meeting with people, we're consulting with you along the way. TK and I and other members of our community are going to work hand in hand in lockstep with what Phil and Paris is doing to help you support you. Another big thing that we find out from contractors, they don't leave their 9 to 5 or their good government job is because they get good benefits. So we do have a team that's set up through our organization. We belong to a much bigger organization called First Financial Security and Shirley Lou and Associates. So through our organization, we are able to provide health benefits, self-direct health benefits for contractors and their families at an affordable cost. We help people with retirement options and to show people how to strategically place their money. So when you're getting the money from the contracts, you still want to save and grow that wealth. And we make sure we create a strategy, not just with one thing, but a portfolio strategy that can help you even be in a better position to be able to leverage the funding that you get and save more money and duplicate the wealth that you're getting through your contracting. There's going to be a time and day where you're not going to be able to sit down and work all day every day. So we want to make sure for the long term that you're saving your money in safe places to grow while you're getting these contracts. And that when you're ready to retire or maybe transfer the business to somebody else, you're still growing the revenue that you made over time. You're passing down that generational wealth. We are all, go
Dante,
ahead.
let me add in here somehow. Literally, the concept, the overall concept here is to make your money work for you. If you're making $10 million in government contracting and you're not making some of that money, we try to teach you 30% of your net. If you're not making some of that money go towards your retirement, you're doing it wrong. If you're not making some of that money work as a avalanche in the background so that you can fund your own contract, you can fund your own projects, you're doing it wrong, right? Because the one percenters know how to use other people's money. And how do you get to that level? You have to take a portion of your net income and then invest it in something that doesn't lose money, but multiplies without the downside risk. So a lot of people are never taught that and they never do that. You're putting all your money in Bank of America and you like logging on and looking at it every day. But what the one percenters and the billionaires do is they make that money get a job. They don't keep it in Bank of America because that's simple interest. So you're only taking 30% of your net and you're making it earn money in a fixed index annuity, then that becomes a fixed asset where now you become your own bank. Now you don't have to borrow from a bank to do your net 30. You can borrow from your fixed index annuity. So this is what billionaires do. They make their money turn into leverage, turn into collateralization. They make their money turn into a line of credit without having to go to a bank. So I want you guys to really understand this concept. And this is the other side of the advanced strategy that Master Wealth Builders introduces, because we're trying to get you past begging somebody for access. You become your access. Go ahead, Shante.
Yes. So you're absolutely right, TK. So we're teaching you these concepts. We will keep inviting you to, we do have subclasses that are separate outside of our annual monthly events or webinars like this, where we teach these strategies. And we'll have people that will walk you through step by step on how to do it. So first you have to take a look, I would say put your own oxygen mask on at your personal financial situation. Because if you are going to be in business for yourself, you want to be bankable, you want to be credible. But we're teaching people how to do it in a way where it doesn't cost you. I teach the cost of lending. So if you have assets that you're building from the money that you're putting aside for while you're earning in your contracts, or even if you're just a business owner, I still talk to my business owners the same way. Put aside 10 to 30%. So when you go back to the bank, you're getting a lower cost of lending. You can lend just based on the asset. And then now your asset can get you more money to stretch so you can get to your next contract, have money to be able to buy inventory or do different things. So we're teaching net zero lending options through the process of both saving and building your asset base. And we're helping you build the bridge the payment gap. So, you're going to have time between sending out shipments and receiving your paycheck, but you still want to be able to keep going. So if you're building your business wisely, like building a team around you, people that can help you and automate some of your processes, this is some of the ways to bridge that gap to be able to afford the virtual assistants. And then basically using tax strategy to be able to reduce some of your costs while you're also leveraging what you need in the meantime. And the other thing, besides building banking and credibility, is that once you have a lot of credibility, you're going to have your lenders that know you, you have the relationships, and you'll say, hey, I'm on my seventh contract. Now they know you're good for the money, you're going to pay them back, and you're going to be responsible, and they're going to open up the lines of credit even greater. So those are some of the strategies that we're teaching. So all
I
we're
was gonna say,
asking, Mhm.
Shante, I was gonna say that that's the important part of getting into leveraging, right? Once you start building a fixed asset that your company can lean on, it makes you more credible, it makes you more bankable because it shows that you have the discipline to take 30% of your net and invest it. So as that investment grows, if you're on a $10 million contract and you have 10% locked in a fixed index annuity, and that is track record showing that you're earning 21% on 10 million or 30% of 10 million, and you go to the bank and say, I want a line of credit against this fixed asset. My company owns it. They're like, oh, you have discipline. You have a track record and you get lower cost of money. That's what I mean by becoming your own bank. When you say I have a fixed asset and it's 30% of my net and it's 21% and it's zero loss account and it's a compound interest account, they're like, we know what that is. Yes, here's a line of credit. Or yes, here's a loan collateralized. And we're going to give it to you at 4% because the cost of money goes down based on the fixed asset that you have. This is where a lot of business owners never get to. You're constantly borrowing net zero. You're never in a net zero, or you're constantly borrowing at high interest rates because of problems with your credit, problems with your discipline, problems with your track record. We're showing you we paid to be in certain rooms. We have access to information. We know how the rich people, the billionaires do it. And we're showing you, we're giving you the blueprint.
Absolutely, that's perfectly right, TK. So all we're asking you to do is just make sure you're participating, getting the education. We're willing to meet with you one-on-one. We have a team that's set aside to say while you're working on your contracting experience, we can review your entity structuring just to make sure it is optimized as a tax professional. I can actually tell you if this is more tax effective for you. We have other tax professionals that do the same thing. And then while we're going over that, then we're helping you stage by stage implement these things while you're going through your journey. So if you are winning those contracts, we can keep coming to the table and meeting on a monthly basis to make sure that you're setting aside what you need to be okay as a new business owner and to be functional and scaling faster in the future.
Yeah, it's just setting yourself up for success. It's like I've talked to a lot of people who are very successful, but they leave out key things that Fortune 500 companies make standard. Like you don't have key man coverage. So God forbid you get hit by a car, who's going to run your business? Key man coverage is insurance that covers your business in case the CEO or any key executive can no longer work. You get the money for that person, and then you hire someone else to step in. So I'm just using it as an example to say, don't leave certain keys out, right? You're $10 million business, but if you're missing key components like personal retirement account, like your family's healthcare coverage, like not having key man coverage, like not having a succession plan. If all of those things are missing and you're still a $10 million business, guess what happens? It falls apart one day. And Shantae has the perfect analogy because she used to be a franchise owner. And what happened? She didn't have none of these protection measures in place. And when her daughter got sick and then her co-owner got cancer, every franchise shut down.
All right, so that's a good example, personal example as to how having these coverages are good with being a business owner. So that's part of my testimony as to why now in this current decade, I do my business differently and making sure you have those protections in place are very important. And we do have Roderick here today. He's one of our key team members that specialize in analyzing what type of protections he helps with the insurance part for businesses. So those are some things that our team members provide if needed to make sure that you have those protections in place. So even when having a successful business, anything can take it down to the next level. You just want to make sure you have those things in place so your business keeps moving without you. A lot of contractors treat their income as a W-2 salary. I do have structures where you could become an S corp where you can pay yourself a salary. But if you're a contractor, most times you're starting off in the LLC space. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to position yourselves as an LLC to receive those tax deductions and contributions and those credits that could be effective for you. The other second thing I've seen over the years of what contractors do, they use their personal credit. Now, of course, when starting off, you may have to be the guarantor of your own business, but eventually you should be positioning your LLC to start building business credibility where you can get those commercial lending, like what Maria from Green Bank Funding does. She's able to provide lending based on your LLC. And then making sure during retirement, like we say, we have strategies to make it tax advantage. Sometimes there are some tax-free strategies, but you know you got to pay Uncle Sam at some point. But we help you navigate so you're not paying as much with using those strategies. So we do encourage you, after you have that meeting with Bill in Paris, definitely sit down with us. We can help you with the other part. This is what we do at Master Wealth Builders. And we have a team lined up of professionals in every area that can help you. If you do already have your trusted advisor, you can still talk to them, but keep in mind, we are more than just advisors. We have multiple people with multiple licenses, multiple hats that can help you in multiple different ways. So I always say if you are doing good already and you got your stuff together, like you've been doing this a long time, kudos to you if you have it together, but still keep reevaluating from year to year so you can continue to scale. So we definitely want to make sure that you have access to us here at Master Wealth Builders. If you scan our QR code, we will put it in the chat, our website, and our direct contact information. So that way you can also schedule a meeting with us. But if you have the ability to scan the QR code, you can schedule a one-on-one. We do have availability on next week in the beginning of August, where we will make time to sit down with you. So
I
that's
just want to say, Shantae, I want to clarify something because I think a lot of people are taught that New York mentality of solo dolo in competition, especially melanated people. So this is not that. Strategic partnership is what this is. If you go to our website and you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see Phil's face. And then you're going to see a link directly to his company. If you go to the top of our website and you click on Contact Us, you're going to see Gov Conway and the application process for Gov Conway. So what this is a collaboration where we're complementing what they do. And I don't want you guys to get it because I've done these webinars for 3 years, and I've always had people come back and say, well, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to talk to, and literally what I want you guys to understand is this is a collaboration. Everyone that you see here is on our website at the bottom, and there's a way to contact them directly through our site. And then we are doing these co-events to introduce you to products and services that I hope takes you to the next level. Like Phil said, they got contractors that are successful that's doing 10 million a year, right? So that's a powerful opportunity to learn a system and make $10 million a year. And he has a boot camp to show you how to do it. But don't get into the New York mentality of solo dolo. This is a collaboration.
Yes, so TK is perfectly right. Like we have other events coming up. So make sure you're tuning in because on our next event, we have a panel of different speakers that'll be speaking. Every month we have a different topic matter. This month it's going to be on technology resources. So, Mr. DeBerry, some of these people I'm here are going to call. I do know you, Kyle. They are all. Anybody that's not already with our organization is welcome to join. I'm familiar with what Kyle is doing. It's very powerful, innovative. If you want to hear from some other people, you can continue to connect, and that's how we grow. We're an intentful community. We're not, as you see what happened today, you got details, you got professionalism, you got takeaways you can implement, and something that can change your life. So when we're continuously meeting, anybody we put in front of our audience are acclimated, A-rated, operate with an excellence, are experts in their field, and they're going to be real and they're going to help you. So we definitely want to keep you in the loop. If you guys are not already subscribed to our Eventbrite, make sure you go and subscribe so you can get information on all these upcoming events. So the small business resource one, this is going to be on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So we'll make sure everybody that's on this call does get a follow-up email with information so that way they can keep in the loop of everything that's happening.
Well, I appreciate that. I think you guys did a great job.
I
I
just also put out there that if I think Shantae will put it in the chat, but our website is Massive Wealth Builders LLC, and at the top you'll always see upcoming events, and then in the middle you're always going to see our previous events. We've been doing this for 3 years, so you'll see previous webinars. I was blessed, and our company was blessed that Phil was able to premiere his system, and you'll see that webinar when they first was in development. We like like I said, we're gonna give you gold, even if you don't understand what gold is.
Absolutely. And Maria, can you unmute yourself for 1 second? Maria has a specific type of lending for contractors. And if you could just give us a quick overview, just to give an idea and make sure they have your contact information when they leave this call as well.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. Shantae and TK, thank you for everything that you're doing and involving me. I've been really excited and appreciative of being a part of the community. Um, as far as government contracting, I do have at least one source that will work with people who have who need purchase order financing. That's kind of the hardest part when you don't actually have your invoices coming in yet. You need the funding to actually fulfill the purchase order. So I do have one resource for that. And then there's quite a few others that will do, they consider accounts receivable financing. So those options are available. As well as, sometimes you just might have to, get a personal loan or a business line of credit, to fulfill those needs as well. So I can help you with those things. My information is in the chat. And I'm happy to say and announce that I have joined with Gov Conway. I'm looking forward to working with Phil and Paris and be the next success story. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate you. And also Paul, he is the reason we're
Yes,
on
here.
today.
Yes.
Yes. And Paul, could you go ahead and come on and explain to us, you are part of the Gov Conway family, who you are and what you do and how you support the community.
Oh, thank you, Shantae. Before I say that, I just want to concur with you and TK said about Paris and Phil and the family. They really are family. We had a great time. Thank you all for coming to the DMV and just the software that was unleashed and so many other things. But just in short, been in the DMV for 37 years. I'm actually Southern grown from Augusta, GA, little town. James Brown, you might know him. And been in the lending industry, financial industry, over 16 years, maybe going on 20 years now, residential, commercial, as well as business funding, credit repair. My person, she's phenomenal. Did my credit in 1 week. My business partner, the list goes on to the 700s. But I've saved over 1,000 homes nationwide from going to foreclosure in addition to that. Right now it's on the rise. So if anyone in trouble, think you're in trouble, on your way in trouble, but there may be no trouble that you might know of. But if you can go back and see the past recording we did last month, I believe it was, to look at your mortgage because there's always trouble. You just don't know it. But in that area, that respect, funding, church, and also in the EV charging space, we can get you set up relatively quickly. It's very lucrative in that field because gas stations are kind of waning. They're still there. But the EV charging stations, because there's what they call EV charging anxiety, where you can't find a station, but gas stations are incorporating them as well. And it's a residual as well as the solar farms. And you don't need to have a house. You could be Section 8. It cuts your energy by 25 to 30%. So just a little bit. We can talk later, but the information is in the chat. Thank you, TK, Shantae, as always, and the speakers that was on, and others who will come on. Thank you for your time. This is invaluable information. There's over 750 billion in government contracts, so it's a lot of money in this space. You have professionals there, very transparent. Down what you see on the call. This is how these guys are at work and at play. Very humble, as well as their family. They really move as a family. Take that, work together as a group. My other guys, they jumped on, they're working with them now, and several others. So this is something that's, just life changing and generational. Elon Musk, by the way, he's made a lot of his money in this space, and many others. So it's your money, really. They take the people's money, they, regenerate, wash, rinse, and repeat. So it's billions, hundreds of billions. So take the opportunity to work with these guys. They hold your hands, go through everything individually, and you have a group of you guys who can team up and just commandeer. I heard the gentleman earlier who was in the tech space, and Paris did a great synopsis. You take that and pivot from the service. You can do that in addition, but find out what they need. But I appreciate everyone again. Thank you for. It's late. Thank you everyone for joining, being on the call. Thank you, Shanika, if she's on. She's the reason I met these guys, so it goes even deeper. So she introduced me to them, and then the rest is history. Thank
Thank
you
you,
again, everyone.
Paul. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Paul.
Yeah,
And
and
you
very.
won't beat me in pool again. I promise you
That's the first person I've seen beat Paris and Poole. So nah.
Yeah, is that true? We
Yeah.
had a great time. I'll come to shot time. I'll come on your trip to make it even. How about
it's personal.
that?
All right, thank you, Paul. We appreciate you. So his contact information is there. If anybody has any questions or need Paul's services, or if you know somebody that's in need of Paul's services, please reach out to him. And last but not least, I do have one of my team members, Roderick Johnson, on. And the reason he's very relevant, he helps in the space of protecting your government contracting success. Roderick, do you would just really briefly in 30 seconds tell everybody how you support people? Roderick, are you still there? all right, he may not be there, but definitely he's a great support to us and what we're doing.
I'm here.
Are you there? All right, there you
Yes,
are.
yes, 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 yes. I'm here. Um, Actually, I provide. Well, we're talking about government contracting tonight. Now, one good thing was thing that was said was the key man life insurance. So yes, I can. You know, do the key man life insurance for you, the errors and omissions, you definitely need that. Um, Depending if you're in the IT space doing government contracting, then of course we're looking at cybersecurity, the workman's compensation, the um, business liability insurance. And so, as it was briefly mentioned this evening by the guys doing the presentation, the insurance for your business is very, very important, and I can certainly provide that for you. So whether you're a startup or you've been in the business, 10, 20, 30 years, I can actually provide the insurance for your company. And don't be afraid to, if you're already with an insurer, feel free to give me a call because then I can compare what you have now and see if I can get you better pricing for the insurance that you have. And so my information is up there. And so please feel free to give me a call at 240-997-4024, or just feel free to reach out to me by email.
Thank you so much, Roderick, for sharing. We love you here, and we're happy to have you on our team. And we have so much other great support, but that's why we definitely want to invite you out, guys, to come out to our monthly sessions. It's usually every fourth Wednesday of the month. Will be next Wednesday on the 22nd at 7 p.m. because there's opportunity also for you guys to become part of our community. So we're always growing. We're looking for people that can support and help people in their own unique ways. We were all given God-given gifts on this earth. So it's better if we work, I always say teamwork to make a dream work. Not like what TK was saying, not riding solo dolo. We all bring our different things to the table. And that's why I never exclude anybody. Even if you do things similar to what I do, or you do, or just like the other, we have people on the call that are experienced in government contracting, but we can still all learn from each other and still work with each other and grow together.
Yeah, I would just say it's more like a Chamber of Commerce and a BNI. Chamber charges $5,000 a year for everything that we're doing for free. So this is a collaborative network where you'll see Roderick's face at the bottom of our website. You'll see Paris's face at the bottom of our website, and you can go straight to his company just by clicking a button. And when you contact us, what we do is ask you 5 questions. What are the 5 W's? Tell me your goals. And then we're just going to point you in the right direction. If you are trying to do this goal, I'm going to introduce you to somebody in my network to help you get to that goal. So the idea, as Paris said very clearly, don't reinvent the wheel, right? Shorten your learning curve. They have all the experience. So instead of trying to do everything yourself and do this, what we're trying to do is saying there's a network of people, there's mentors. They're all a part of Master Wealth Builders partnership. It's called a strategic partnership. So let's plug you into the right person so to get you there faster without making the same mistakes that they highlighted tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, does anybody have any further questions? I know it's getting late, so I know people need to go to bed, but this has been very good. I'm excited. Like I said earlier, like this is what we can talk like this and get this type of information and value. There's nothing that we can't do. God can bless us, but He'll give us the tools, and we have to activate those tools. So those are biblical principles. So I do believe that it's not by chance that whoever made it today were the people that we're meant to be here. And God has given you this information for a purpose. We all operate out of first, of course, we have a business, but we're operating with a God spark. We want to really help people. We want to bring the information to the people. Now it's up to you to take your information and move forward and trust God to do the rest.
Exactly. That's just exactly it. This is a monthly webinar that we do. So if you follow us on Eventbrite, it's going to ding you every time we post a new class. And the idea is each one teach one. Bring somebody else. Come back next month. Learn something new. We started doing teaching because everybody always says when we're outside in public events that, oh, I never knew that. Okay, so instead of staying in the office, we're going to come to you and we're going to give you the information. We're going to give you the gold and we're going to educate you to the point where you no longer take gold bars and throw them in the trash because you can't buy potato chips. You have to know what to do with gold. Once you get a gold bar, it has value. But if you don't know the value of gold and you just want to buy chips, you're going to throw that gold bar away. So let's come back next month. Let's follow each other on Eventbrite and just it's called financial literacy because it empowers your economic base. Once you start making different decisions, you're going to get different results. You know, what did he say? He said this is how much money, how many successful people? Right? How much money, like this is a powerful industry.
Absolutely.
Does anybody else have any last minute questions or hoorahs before we go? This is our happy hour time now.
If y'all was in our community, this would be shot o'clock.
Uh, uh, I'm coffee and tea these days. I can't do it, but whoever else, you're welcome to it. Do it for me. All right, well, we're gonna let everybody go. Just make sure before you leave, if you haven't already, put your phone number and email in the chat. We will be reaching out to you over the course of the next week, and we'll make sure you do get a copy if you're interested, if you need a copy of the recording tonight, especially to share with others. I'm sure each person here knows somebody, or at least knows three people that need this, or it can help them boost their business.
Go to my website and you'll see it in the middle section where it says pre-recorded webinars. She wants me to send this out to every single person every single time. Please just go to the site and watch it there or go to YouTube.
All right. So thank you for Paris and Phil joining us at your out of your busy schedule. We're happy to have you. Can't wait till we see you. Obviously, you say Puerto Rico. That's one of those
Yeah,
places.
absolutely.
I'll be there. So if you anybody that's on here, you try to go and be a part of this community, please get on everybody's calendar and we'll keep it going. All right.
We enjoyed you guys.
Thanks a lot for the invitation
Mhm.
again. And yeah,
Well,
like they say, if y'all want to lock in with us, we did place our scheduling link. We can get a one-on-one call so we can actually gauge everyone, build relationships, and it's deepen in government contract, people. Keep that in mind.
All right. I think we have one last question. You could just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, I just want to say I can't. I definitely want to lock in. I'm seeing this wonderful collaboration on the finance and the government contract side of things. Combining those two is very powerful. Oh, what I did want to know is, do you guys have your own internal cybersecurity auditor or something like that?
We do.
Because that's
Yes, we do.
you do. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
But
That's my niche.
so when it comes to when we emphasize we big on family, once we start to look and see, the added value that you bring to the table, you would always get that invitation to come bring more value to what we already are established with doing. So when it comes to compliance, we have our compliance team, our CCPs, our CCAs, working on getting our C3PAO. So we're going through that entire process, but the more the merrier for sure.
Fantastic. I can't wait to get on board. Alrighty.
All right. Any more last minute? Anybody want to say anything before we leave? I would like to hear from if Mr. DeBerry, if you can just introduce yourselves to us. You've been really wonderful, and we definitely want to get to know more about what you do. Can you just give us a 2 minute, 30-second, tell us about yourself?
oh yeah, of course, my name's John Berry. I've been working in the IT federal space for 25 years. And I started two companies. One is DeBerry Federal and one is DeBerry and Company. DeBerry and Company's been around for quite some time. And what we try to do is with DeBerry Federal, we produced a site that really helps, 8A businesses, woman-owned business, small disadvantage, to put them in a position where they can see the federal contracts, what to bid on. You can put a NAT code in there and pull up all the information that you want. And it really helps them. I think it's a great tool that they looks like they really enjoy and they like. But I'm here to help businesses grow as well. So that's my whole purpose.
All right, well, we love it. That's what we're here for. So let's do it
Yep.
together.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
All right, absolutely. So make sure you get our information as well, and we'll schedule some time next week to talk, okay?
Okay, sounds perfect.
Absolutely. All
Thanks a lot,
right.
John.
Anybody else? Are we good? All right. Well, we'll meet again. If you guys can make it on for whoever's not already a part of next week's event, we'll see you then, and we'll continue this community and grow it further.
Okay, thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Take care, everybody. Be blessed. We
Nice
appreciate
to
you.
meet all you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good one,
Thank
everyone.
you.
God
All right,
bless.
take care,
Yeah.
you all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Yeah.
evening.
You too. And Phil, Paris, you're still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, just make sure you find the pool hall if it's going to be
I'll say, stop
35
recording.
and
Stop
Phil,
the recording.